So the Illinois Attorney General is suing a white supremacist family for harassing their neighbor. With a series of racially charged offenses. Now, law enforcement documented the white supremacist so-called terroristic jokes. With the chief of the city's police saying he have never seen anything like that in the 40 years he's been in law enforcement. On Wednesday, June the 1st, Attorney General Kwame Ruel announced his office filed a complaint. They say the People versus Hampton and the 15th Judicial Circuit Carroll County Court against two white supremacists by the name of Cheryl Hampton, a 67-year-old old devil, and 45-year-old Chad Hampton, her little devil son. For harassing their black neighbor, Gregory Johnson, by hanging Confederate flags, swastikas, lynching effigies, and symbols of race-based terror. The complaint is the first time the AG's office has invoked the state's hate crime law passed 4 years ago. The Attorney General contends this historic civil lawsuit, if successfully prosecuted, will mount fines on those initiators of the bigoted acts and prevent them from further acts of intimidation. In a statement, they said our complaint alleges the defendants intentionally used the shameful history of lynching and racism in America to terrorize and instill fear in their next door neighbor simply because he is black, and say no one should be subjected to this kind of hate. He said, I'm committed to continuing to partner with law enforcement agencies across Illinois to prosecute hate crimes and send a message that hate and bigotry of any kind are not welcome and will not be tolerated. Now, the Attorney General's office details over an extended period of time the Hamptons family's numerous acts of intimidation against Johnson dating back to the summer of 2020. Now, the brother had moved in the Savannah in 2020, intending to spend his retirement in a small town of about 3,000 people. He said the first offense happened in July of that year when Johnson noticed that his lawn was damaged and believed to be vandalized by someone using a riding mower to cross over the property line between his and the Hamptons' home. As a result, he put up an orange retractable fence. They said the complaint says impeding the Hamptons from mooring on his property. Shortly after Saturday, July 11, his neighbor told him to take the fence down. The white supremacist Cheryl Hampton told him she would tear the fence down, and a day after she made the threat, he refused to do so, as she asked, and she found out it was cut in half. They said that the white supremacist Cheryl seems to have made good on her threat. So the brother called local police. Now, the police got out there. They said that they told, her in reference to a dispute with Johnson, she did not want N-words living next to her. She told the police directly. While the white supremacist and the race soldier was talking, Chad walked to the front of the home and raised a Confederate flag on a flagpole in front of Hampton's house, just all in front of the police. And they didn't do anything. This is that immunity of law that the white supremacists have. The AG believes Cheryl's use of the word and the raising the flag gave historical context of terror regarding the family's acts against the black American neighbor. Now, they say the Chicago native called the police again the same day when he witnessed Chad Hampton purposely spraying weed killer on large portions of his lawn, damaging the grass. As evidence to be used a later date, Johnson photographed Chad while he was spraying the lawn. Chad was charged with misdemeanor for damaging Johnson's property, and said that this apparently outraged the duo, and they started a new strategy of intimidation. After being charged a month later, the fence had tampered with for the second time. Johnson called the police on August 30th, and said to file another report against the Hamptons. They said on Tuesday, September 22nd, the Carroll County Sheriff issued a summons against Chad for the July weed spraying incident. The next day, Chad, and what the AG believes was retaliation, spray painted a black swastikas on a garage facing Johnson's property in September 2020. And Savannah police visited the Hampton residence to ask Chad Hampton to remove the swastikas. According to the Attorney General, upon information to believe, Chad Hampton displayed the swastikas in view of Johnson's property because of the swastikas' historical and present-day association with white supremacist ideology and beliefs. Now, Johnson took pictures of this offense also. Less than a month later, in October 19, 2020, Chad Hampton was arraigned on his misdemeanor charge. Within a week of arraignment, the lynching effigy of Johnson appeared hanging from a tree next to Johnson's property. Johnson first described the figure as a black dummy hanging by a noose from a tree. They say he reported the offense, on Monday, October 26th. And they said that they believe at that time they should be arrested and charged with a hate crime. They said the lieutenant went to review the effigy on the Hamptons property and the pictures taken by Johnson. He said once photographed, it said the dummy describing it, it said as made with a white rubber mask and had been painted black. Similar to Johnson's color. Now I'm looking at the picture. Of course, I can't show this on YouTube because they'll make a big deal about it. But no, that wasn't not that man's color. This is the color actual black. Okay, and they put on a curly wig with speckles of white to emulate Johnson's salt and pepper hair. Okay. So they said the Attorney General's office, it says seeing the mock lynching caused Johnson great distress, and he interpreted the figure as a threat on his life and personal safety. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do. So eventually, they were arrested, at their home, both of them. They was charged, under harassment of a witness Tuesday, October 27th. They say it was an act of retaliation of Johnson's complaint, and the case is ongoing. So they said that the dummy, the female, couldn't put it up there because she was only 5'2" and 65 years old. She didn't have the strength to do that, so he knew homeboy had helped her with that. So there's been many cases like this, ladies and gentlemen. We have white supremacists, harassing and targeting black people. And look at all the phone calls his brother had to make just to get them to do something. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. They should have been, the first time. But let me tell y'all something. I hope you know this, that when you report a hate crime, you're supposed to call the FBI and make a report to the FBI as well. I hope you know that. The Department of Justice has to investigate all hate crimes, right? So call the local police, make your report, then call the FBI and make a report. And that way, now you got the FBI and you got the local police on that particular issue. Trust me, the first time they get a visit from the FBI, they gonna really get real different real quick. The third thing you must do is visit a lawyer, explain everything, show your pictures, and see what kind of civil suit you can file against them as well. You hit them those three ways. You got to make white supremacists pay for messing with you. If black people all move like that, file civil, lawsuits, report to the local police, report to the FBI, these white supremacists will have to start moving a lot different in what they're doing. But black folks a lot of times don't know their rights and they don't know what they could really do. That's why we need to study more into that and what to tell black people how to defend themselves, in this white supremacist system. But y'all, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this situation with this old devil and her middle-aged son devil. Jail is a good place for them. I know they're not going to really do too much to them, but, hey, at least they did get arrested and get some sort of, criminal record.